If you saw our blog post from last week, it was all about injuries of the hip and more specifically osteoarthritis of the hip. And one of the big recommendations for OA of the hip is exercise. But more specifically, they want to focus on strengthening, endurance, and flexibility of the hip. So when I was doing the research for that, I can remember back in my college days, a series of exercise routines that one of my teachers gave me, and I can't remember who she got it from, but I'll give a big thanks to Jeanette Pike for giving me this series of exercises that I've used with patients over the years to help with the hip. It was specifically intended for people who wanted to run marathons so that they could build up strength, endurance, and flexibility in the hip. So I'll just run you through what that series of exercises looks like now, and hopefully you'll be able to use it with some of your patients. So you can do this right on your massage table in your clinic room. And all you need to do is get the person laying on their side. And it starts with an exercise just called short arc abduction. So it's just coming up like this. And then you follow that with coming up and pointing the toes and doing a clockwise circle, followed by counterclockwise circles. And when you're done those, you go into long arc abduction, so coming all the way up, followed by a bicycle kick. So bringing the knee right up, extending the leg, going into hip extension, and coming right around again. So the whole intention of those exercises was to be able to start with just a couple small reps of each one until finally building up to the point that the patient could do 20 reps of each exercise back to back to back in order. Now, while this was intended for marathon runners and strengthening their hip, really it's an exercise that you could use for just about anybody that's got a hip issue. But specifically when we look at OA of the hip, that's a really easy one that you could do with your patients on your table that's going to build strength, endurance, and flexibility.